what you want, what you want.
Now that the pumpkin's dry enough to handle, we're going to go ahead and finish up the detailing on it and get this thing ready for paint. So the first thing we're going to do is cut a hole in the bottom of it, and we're going to pull all the stuffing out of the inside of our pumpkin. What I usually do is find a nice sized lid, trace a line around it, and then cut it out using an X-Acto knife. Now you're going to want to be careful because the bottom of your pumpkin is still going to be a little bit wet. So don't get too carried away so you don't make any tears in the pumpkin, in the pieces of the pumpkin that we're leaving in place. Just remove everything from the inside of the pumpkin. Don't leave anything in there, no tape. You want it all clean on the inside. Alright, so our pumpkin cracked on us some while we dried, which you can see here. Now let's address these issues and get them fixed. It's very, very easy to do. All we're going to do is take small amounts of fresh clay and push them into the cracks and then blend it in with the dried up clay, and all your cracks will go away. So look your pumpkin over, find any cracks you see, fill them with a little bit of fresh clay, and let it set to dry. Cracks are that easy to fix. Now the next thing we're going to do is cut out the mouth and eyes. Generally I use an X-Acto knife to do this to cut it all the way out, but I thought I'd show you guys another tool that works pretty well. And it's just one of those standard green little saws or cutters that you would get from a carving kit to carve normal pumpkins with. Just poke a hole with your X-Acto knife and insert your little saw and cut away. Now let's give this stem a little bit of detail. You could do this with clay. Clay takes a little bit longer, so I found using just toilet paper and paper mache paste makes a pretty quick detail for your stem, and it actually looks pretty decent. All you do is you're going to apply some paste to the pumpkin itself, so that gives the toilet paper something to stick to begin with. And then using a paintbrush dipped in paper mache paste, you're just going to come back in and load that toilet paper down with your paper mache paste, scrunch it up into place and push it where you want it. When this wrinkles up, it gives a nice little viney effect to it. If you want your vines thicker, just add more toilet paper and paste to it. As much as you add to it, the thicker you can make it or the taller you can make it. Really depends on you and what you want. The things you want to remember though, when this dries, this does shrink down quite a bit. Also when this dries, it is very, very hard because you've loaded so much paper mache paste into it to get it to this point. So you'll do this to make your veins going down the side of the pumpkin, and once you've got the veins that you want, just little pieces of toilet paper, one at a time, apply it to your stem and just press them down and push them around into place to create some viney texture to your stem. Alright, let's add one last detail to this pumpkin. We're going to add some pumpkin guts to the mouth. To do this, we're just going to use cotton balls dipped in paper mache paste. First thing you're going to want to do is unravel 3 or 4 cotton balls out just like that. Once you get them unraveled, put them up to your pumpkin, get a little bit of a measurement on it, and then go ahead and stretch your cotton ball out a little bit, widen it out. This makes it much easier to spread on the inside once you dip it in your mache paste. Dip it in your mache paste, get it loaded up, smooth that paste through the cotton ball, make sure it's filled to the cotton ball from front to back so it's got good coverage of mache paste. Then you're going to stick this to the inside of your mouth. Now generally I'll start at the top, then drape it down to the bottom, and then pull it from side to side to stretch that cotton ball out. It creates tears, it creates texture, it makes a really neat look. Now this is much easier to do when you're not trying to film it and you can turn your pumpkin over and have the mouth laying down and attack it from the inside. When you're trying to do it like what I'm doing here, it'll pull away sometimes, it falls, you got to put it back in place. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but it works and it looks good, so just work with it. But if you're doing this at home, if you keep that pumpkin face down as you're applying your cotton, it helps you out a lot. It doesn't want to pull away from the top. Like how I'm doing it now, so you guys can see it in the video. A lot of the times that first part where you stick it to the top, it wants to pull away. But if you have this pumpkin laid face down and are working through that hole, it sticks much better and it's easier to pull around and move. So with your discretion and how you like the veins to look and how much gutting you want into it, all up to you. You can add as much gutting on the inside of this mouth as you want or as little as you want. It just really is your taste and what you like and what you want to have. It's pretty easy to do and it does a great effect. Now if you want a few more holes in this, just take an X-Acto knife and gingerly plug in there and start ripping and tearing and adding some more holes. Now I wanted to add some more guts to the outside of the pumpkin. I already had a piece of a cotton ball that had paper mache paste on it. I just tore these into little bitty pieces and applied them, some of them to the top teeth and wrapped some of them to the bottom teeth, just so there was a little more gore hanging on the outside of the pumpkin. And there we go. All the final detail is done to our pumpkin. Now all I have to do is set this out and let it dry. And let it dry completely before we move on to paint.